I like doing podcasts when planes are flying overhead.
Oh,
yeah.
That's what we do.
Yeah, it's great. This is the way it should be. This is the real deal.
$700 a month.
It's $750.
It's not Theo Vaughn money. It's not Rogan
I love
money.
how it got to a level and then it sort of like stayed there, but like went up a little bit, but then kind of just.
Dude, every time we peaked to 1,000 for like 2 days, and then it went down again. I was like, no.
Paul F. Tompkins used to have this thing about the Paul F. Tompkins 300 in every city. Like he would go do shows where there were 300 people.
By the way, I noticed that ended.
That ended. But I was gonna say you have the Pepitone 30 maybe. What do you think? What do we got? 50? 50 that are
I don't know.
so committed.
Loyal 50.
Well, there are really cool. My fans when I go on the road, they're cool.
No, of course, yeah.
They're cool. They're very cool. But
the Patreon, it's hard to get people over to the Patreon. I don't know what it is.
We're plugging away. We are plugging away. Now, I don't know, what we need to do, but here's my take on the landscape out there. It's fucking dumb, dude.
Yeah.
And I have no interest.
No.
I'm doing this because whatever. It's fun and
It keeps your wits about you. It forces you to improvise for an hour.
that's true.
Gets you out of the house.
Yeah.
2 hours.
It does. I'm telling, dude. After like 15 years of doing podcasts, I think the most valuable thing is I schedule time to be around people I enjoy.
That's true too.
Yeah.
Which people are such homebodies. If you don't have a project or something, they'll be like,
really are.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Totally. Yeah.
So,
Are we going to include this? We should keep this.
I mean, we can throw it in.
I like when you start a podcast and it doesn't like feel like a start. It just
No, we've been throwing it in all this time. I mean, we've been going.
You guys are killing it.
We're talking, folks, about Pep Talks, the podcast with Apocalypse Soon. That was another iteration of me was Pep Talks. That was with Steve Lawley. Mm-hmm. And now we're doing this. And Steve over here, Steve Feinartz, introduced me to you.
Yes,
Steve was the conduit.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think Eric Olson was the conduit to connect myself with Kevin.
Eric Olson and Todd Glass and
Eric didn't help with the special this year, and I didn't. he was good the first time.
He got busy. He's working as a city council member now.
Let's officially start. Go ahead, Kevin.
Okay. Hey, folks, are you enjoying the podcast? Let us know. Send us an email to eddypeppodcast@gmail.com. Go over to Patreon and give us $5 or $20 where we'll get you this podcast in beautiful 4K the day that it comes out, plus some exclusive Eddie Pepitone stand-up clips. And now, let's get into the show. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, actively listening pine trees, squirrels, the unhoused, welcome to Apocalypse Soon, the only podcast with zero upside recorded in public to the demise of its hosts. And now here he is. Oh, he's looking good. Get out your contracts because he's ready to sign. He's a sexual man on the loose, and he's looking fine. Feeling fine in the sunshine. It's Eddie Pepitone.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Apocalypse Soon, the podcast with no upside. We're out here in the park. We're here today with Steve Feinartz. I used to call him my director, but now Steve is directing things for Mark Maron and other people. Welcome, Steve, to the podcast.
I'm still your director.
He still is my director.
Yes.
We filmed a special at the end of July in Chicago, and we're still looking to get that out there.
Yeah, I think it'll be out there, though. We think next year. Early next year.
Early next year?
We're getting it out there. It's great. It's so good.
And I think we decided to call it Eddie Pepitone As Is.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Ooh. It's a little weak.
It's simple.
As
it's nice. It's kind of like the Jordan Peele movies,
As is.
Very simple titles.
Jordan Peele.
Get Out. What's the other one?
Oh my God. Get Out. Look up. No, but that's the key to a good movie poster.
The title
is a simple, but like Taken is great.
Taken 2.
Taken 2.
Taken 3.
Taken 3. How many Takens did they do?
I think there's like 27.
I think there's at least 4.
And now there's an offshoot of Taken called Took. And they're up to Took 3. Oh, folks, we have a lot of fun out here in the park. And we were just talking how me and Kevin make $700 a month off this podcast. We split that. 60-40. I get 60 because of the big name recognition.
That's right. That's right.
It's a great park because you never know what's going to happen.
Well,
you know,
it's very weird. I'm looking to my right here, folks. That would be your left, I think. But there are people. There's like 7 people sitting there with masks outdoors. And
it's a little concerning.
Well, it is a little concerning because I think that, you know, we're at the stage where outdoors we don't need masks.
Probably not, unless they all have COVID and they're just.
They might all have COVID. That might be a group of people who are called the COVID. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. The COVID-6.
Get some
lots
conspicuous
of
photos.
animals too. I noticed a lot of dogs and you know we got squirrels.
You're late to the party here. We've always been talking about as a matter of fact, I thought it would be a very funny idea to do a podcast where me and Kevin just talk to dogs off camera that people can't see. Like there's a German Shepherd there.
Oh.
Hello, baby.
That sounds like a good Patreon thing, exclusive maybe.
Oh, everything's a good Patreon thing.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why we're up to $700 a month.
700.
Wow.
By the way, if you decide to become a $20 subscriber, Eddie will give you an old sock. So we're adding that to the list,
folks.
of benefits.
I just want to say that I had 15 pounds removed, so the urologist could get in to take out my prostate, and none of this is to brag.
Well, that was mostly from your penis, right?
There was 15 pounds, and folks, most of you know that I think that my penis was called Thor, and now it's called
Ragnarok. Thor Ragnarok.
Ragnarok hard.
How are you feeling though, Eddie? How are you?
I'm feeling really good, Steve. I'm feeling really good. I mean, it's been, you know. The fucking, prostate cancer and then the surgery. I 15 pounds less because the surgeon needed to get into the prostate through my belly, my belly was referred by some as arduous or cumbersome. Unwieldy.
Yes.
Have you heard my belly called unwieldy? But now it's great.
I think I said you look svelte, which I think is proper for.
Absolutely.
It's proper.
It's
Italian.
proper
It's Italian for looking
svelte.
good.
Yeah.
Well, that's a genocide term for what's going on in Gaza, but.
I do think if you went back to Sicily right now and you ran into a relative, they'd be like, Eddie, you are wasting away. Eddie, you got to eat.
Yes.
What is this? Is $700 a month a paycheck?
But you can't afford to get no more pasta.
Why don't you use some of that money to eat?
By the way, we gotta get out to Little Tony's, the 3 of us. I think that would be a real good time.
And what's the one in Los Feliz? A very similar.
There's Little Dom's.
Ooh.
Dom?
It's right on
Hillhurst?
Vermont.
Well,
Vermont. It's an Italian place. It's also,
Palermo.
I love Palermo.
Palermo's great. Old school,
yes.
just classic red sauce Italian. Yeah.
Right.
I used to go to a place
frills.
called Little Dom's, but it was a dominatrix place for
little people.
Yeah, Little Dom's.
Yeah.
Is that where diminutive people strap you to a gurney
That's right.
That's where.
and have their way with you?
Village, what's his name? Herves. That's where he would
that's
go.
a sad story about that guy. He killed himself.
He did.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
The plane.
I remember because I used to hire him to urinate on me. Hey, folks, this is why we get $700 a month.
That's right.
Yeah, the big bucks.
The big bucks. Steve, you want to talk about you have just directed Mark Maron's new doc, and you're going to start going to film festivals with it, right?
Yeah, I think in the spring we're going to be in some festivals, spring, summer. Yeah, we're going to
Mark
do it.
Maron, Mark is a real artist in the sense that he just has been fucking putting his nose to the grindstone for so many years, and he's used his neurosis and I feel like he's like what a good comic does is he uses his life as what he does on stage.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he can't help it, but
he can't help it.
No.
Me neither, folks.
That's why you and Mark and and like people
We're very
like
simpatico.
and like people like Todd and Rory and people who use their life.
Yeah.
Well,
those are sillier comedians.
Rory
but I
is an
do think-
absurdist. Todd is too.
But I think you
I'm
guys
an
are also in
absurdist.
the moment. You guys are also
That's
in the
true.
moment. Maybe not
That's
all you
very
in your personal
true.
life, but you're not just set up punchline. Let's just get into the joke all the
No
time.
way.
Yeah.
No way.
Which I love.
That's Kevin. Kevin loves.
I love a setup punch. I like something. If it
You're
doesn't,
structured. You're very structured. As a matter of
Oh,
fact,
yeah.
whenever I visit Kevin, he's always building something.
Always.
Well, I
Always
get-
building a house. Like a.
I get a lot of popsicle sticks for my jokes, and then I have to use them for something, But I've always said if the joke won't fit on a popsicle stick, I ain't
You ever
doing
hear
it.
of
no good.
that saying, Jesus Christ on a popsicle stick?
No.
No, I never heard that. What is that?
Yeah, my friend John Williams, Johnny Fido in New York, used to say that Jesus Christ on a popsicle stick. He's from North Carolina.
Do you miss New York, Eddie? Or you feel like you got to get back
Yes.
there? Yeah.
Yes. Well, the city is nerve jangling.
Yeah.
But I do miss the Northeast. I like it.
Yeah,
Like when
yeah.
I go on the road and do Baltimore, Boston, Philly, all that stuff. I like it. I like it, man. I like it better than the West. I really
Yeah.
do.
Woodstock being up there.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna go
Yeah.
there, man. It's happening.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be in Woodstock soon, and like move my base of operations.
To the mountains.
Like Dylan did after he went electric and he decided to go.
Oh, yeah.
But
Ride
Dylan wound up
motorcycles
here
and-
in Malibu. I mean, he travels all over.
You may wind up in Malibu in your 70s. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean,
know?
you got a long way to go still,
Absolutely.
It could end up
My
anywhere.
70s, which are like 4 years away. Which also is very frightening, folks. And don't let it happen to you. What I've done is something called wasting my life. And don't let that happen to you, folks. I've worried my whole life.
Yeah.
I have spent the greater part of my life worrying about things that never happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what should people do though? Like instead of worrying, what are you supposed to do? Like actually just
Live your fucking life.
Yes.
And the thing is, though, it all is very dependent on how you were raised. Like, I was blamed for everything in my household. Like, I would get up as a toddler and be told, "You're no good." No, that would be the first thing I would hear upon awakening.
Right.
You're no good.
Eat your mush.
Garbage.
You know
they would
good-
call you garbage.
Yeah.
Right when you wake up.
Hey, garbage. And I would be like, "But Papa." No, I shouldn't even say that. That's. But I mean, I've always had to battle these. Well, that's why I'm a comedian. Though.
And that's what
Yeah.
that's what makes you who you are and what makes you funny. And you know,
You could say
I
really
mean,
fucked up.
I guess
and we
that's
get
the
to-
bright side. The downside is I've wasted a lot of my life feeling guilty about stuff.
but the bright side is you have a lot of nice T-shirts, right? A lot,
Right.
a lot of nice T-shirts.
Some good jerseys?
I look at this jersey. folks.
Great
This
jersey.
is like $100-something, and that's because my dad died and I was able to afford it.
I mean, so they should call you Silver Lining Pepitone. I mean,
I like that actually. Silver lining Pepitone.
I have noticed your wardrobe has been upgraded
yes.
since your father has passed.
Well, these, by the way,
Yes.
I don't know if they look pedestrian, but feel the material.
Aren't they Vuori or one of these high-end
yeah,
brands?
yeah, yeah.
They are Vuori. Wow.
They're really high end, and again,
The
when
folks should know those are about $100 pants right there.
a little more than that.
Wow.
You
well,
know.
every time I've driven by your apartment, I sometimes will often hear you screaming, "Fuck you, Dad," and I go, "Oh, Eddie's putting on his expensive pants again."
I've got my dad's money in the market, and I'm a little worried about BRICS, which is Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. Now,
Yeah.
and that, as the United States currency, once it is not the world's currency, get your money out of the market. By the way, this is very funny to be talking to my fans about getting your money out of your market because none of them have any money.
What about Bitcoin, Eddie, and crypto?
I haven't done a fucking... Should I?
While we're recording this right now, Bitcoin is like $99,000.
Yeah, it's about to hit 100K.
It's about to hit 100,000.
Yeah. Should I buy some Bitcoin?
Maybe wait till maybe it'll dip a little bit and then buy in, they say. Maybe if it dips to like 80 or something.
Yeah, don't buy now.
Why? It's so high?
It's the highest it's ever been, I think.
A peak, yeah. No,
Now, what? You know why I don't want to buy Bitcoin? Because I have no idea what it is. Do you?
Not really.
It's just another stock.
I know there's a finite amount. There's a finite amount. That I know, and that's why they like the crypto mining was a big thing because they had to like find.
But it's all virtual,
and it's terrible for the environment too. So
because of
the amount of power that it takes to mine crypto, the computers.
What do you mean mine crypto? That's in quotes. Isn't it mining? There's no actual mining.
Well, technically mining, but I guess on the internet they're like cracking codes essentially to find leftover Bitcoin wallets or whatever. However, that works.
So you have to. So when you think about like a bank, you're verifying transactions through verifying where is this coming from, where is it going. So the problems that they're solving are multi-level tier algorithmic verifications of the money. So they have to get these really high processing computers to do these crazy math problems to verify Bitcoin. And every time they do it, Bitcoin rewards them with a little sliver of it.
Mm-hmm. I have no idea what you're talking about. I really don't. I really don't.
This is the future. This is the future.
Essentially, just think of it as another stock. Yeah, it might as well be.
Yeah, if it's going up, people are like talking about it and they want it. And you know, now the Trump is in. He's putting forward. He's a big crypto guy now, apparently. So now crypto's good again. So for 4 years,
I can't wait till Trump dies. You know why? Because all this person wants is wealth.
Yeah,
like the accumulation of wealth is the only thing he cares about, and power.
And then he pretends to be for the common man, to be for the working man.
And that's on you,
your audience. Are there any Trump supporters in your audience? I wonder.
I doubt it.
Absolutely,
maybe
there are.
Maybe because I trash the Democrats so bad because they you know. And Trump, by the way, is not the reason we're in this situation. He is a symptom of a fucking broken system that has been bought and paid for by corporate wealth, by AIPAC, the Israeli lobby, warmongers, and Trump is what you get.
Yeah.
Right?
We'll be right back with a message from BetterHelp.
I will say, I've noticed we haven't talked about the election once since you've come out of your surgery.
Oh, wow.
Because for me, it was a far gone conclusion.
Yeah.
Harris was an empty fucking suit. She supported the war. She was running around campaigning like it was a good thing with Liz Cheney.
That was a misstep.
That was a that's not the Democrats I grew up with. Now, I always was also, my dad brought me up. My dad and mom were hardcore John F. Kennedy Democrats when Democrats still were not completely bought out. Right after the speech by Eisenhower, I remember when I was being brought into the world in 1958, Eisenhower was making his speech. And I remember going,
You were trying to mime military-industrial complex. You were trying to go,
oh, wow. You got imprinted.
Huh?
You got imprinted on with the military-industrial complex.
Dwight Eisenhower, a general, and some generals are great, right?
Sure.
Smedley Butler. War is a racket. You know the one I'm talking about?
I don't
that
actually.
famous speech?
No, I don't.
Yeah,
no.
You're laughing.
It sounded like a name that you made up.
Butler is definitely like a guy.
It's a funny name.
I actually started an aerospace engineer company with my neighbor, Smedley Butler.
It sounds like a Bullwinkle cartoon character.
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
But anyway,
real name.
Smedley Butler was a guy who went to war for Wall Street, and he basically talked about it's a racket. I think the speech, if you Google it, Smedley Butler, war is a racket.
Okay.
It's just for rich people. So anyway, Harris and the Democrats have aligned themselves. It's a one-party system. I've always said that.
Yep.
So but then again, once you here's the thing, once you hear about Trump's picks, it seems like a qualification to be in Trump's cabinet is to have a sexual abuse scandal.
Like 3 or 4 of them already.
Gaetz had to withdraw, thank God.
Yeah,
right?
Gaetz is out. They got this other one in there. What's her name? Pam Bondi. She's going to be the new... I don't know. Who knows? It's all bad.
She's a blonde.
She's a blonde. Yeah, she's a blonde. But the other crazy thing is RFK for, speaking of Kennedy's, for HHS, for the Health and Human Services,
Oh, my God. Now, what do you think of that? I mean, because Kennedy's a very mixed bag. On one hand, he goes after Big Pharma, which I don't mind.
I like him on everything but the vaccines. I mean, it seems
everything,
like everything. Huh? Well, most things. I like him on like pharmaceuticals, going after the pharmaceutical companies and ultra-processed foods. These are all good things.
Ultra-processed
foods. These are things the Democrats used to be for, but then they kind of went away from it.
Our food supply is fucking horrible, and I'm just talking about my apartment. I have some really bad cereal currently.
Oh man!
No, you ever? It's like a Fruit Loops knockoff called Fruta Lupia. It's made in Tijuana. And it's a very cheap grocery store over here.
Super Loops.
Well, they got in trouble. What was the thing? Fruit Loops. They got in trouble because the Kennedy said the thing about Fruit Loops.
What do you say?
That apparently there's like 30 ingredients in the American Fruit Loops, and there's only like a third of that in other countries.
Really?
The UK. I mean, no, not just the UK, but
you gotta love the Burbank Airport.
We love the Burbank Airport.
Europe has much better food. When I go overseas, I always have a spring in my step after week 1.
Have you ever been to when's the last time you went to a farmer's market, Eddie?
Do you know what? When I first got to L.A., there's a great farmer's market here in Studio City.
Yeah, I've been to that
and
one.
I used to go all the time, and I don't go anymore.
They're great. There's a good one in Echo Park. They do, I think, on Fridays. It's really good in the afternoon.
Do you go?
Every once in a while. I go every month.
I go for the rodeo clowns. Like, at farmers markets, there's a lot of nice sideshows.
Yes.
And folks, if you're going to a farmer's market, don't go unless there's a clown rolling around in some kind of hay or a mime. Or the Studio City Farmers Market over here in Los Angeles has a mime. It has a very small acting troupe always doing a condensed version of Hamlet. Very condensed.
There's always a young man in pedal pushers with a page boy haircut rolling a big hoop with a stick.
Yes.
At the farmer's market.
Yes, there's a bullwhip.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say Waiting for Godot is also occasionally.
Waiting for Godot has been a staple of the Studio City Farmers Market. That and good sweet corn.
Well, especially with all the out of work actors, they've got to find work,
Steve, I wanted to talk to you and Kevin about that. Our business, the acting business, is really contracting.
Contracting is the word of the day.
Contracting. Not for some of my friends.
Also, Eddie.
Not for some of my friends, the famous ones.
Yeah.
We should call this episode something with the word contracting has to be in there because Eddie is also contracting as well.
Oh, wow.
His belly.
Yeah.
Has contracted.
Let's call this episode The Great Contraction.
Dude, like it.
That is so insane. I was literally just thinking that.
The Great Contraction.
I really was. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Maybe we can call your special that. Change the name.
Great Contraction.
It might be hard to decipher, but
my next special.
The one after this,
Yeah, contractually obligated.
I think what would be funny is if I taped another special and that special came out before this one that we taped.
Well, we want the next one. The next one, I don't know if we should talk about it, but we do want to do you maybe doing 5 or 6 improvised shows.
I want to do that so bad, and I think it would be great.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because you know my style.
Yes.
And a lot of times I get fucking. But you like the special.
This special last one is great. I think it's one of your best.
Okay.
The last three were all so good. I can't even. I don't even have a favorite. They're all good.
Right.
Right. I do like them. Yeah, they've all been great.
You saw a really good run through at the Elysian.
Yes. But when me and Feinartz were watching, we were upstairs. We were talking about that improvised set style and like getting some of that.
Totally.
And we could plan some previews.
It just frees me up. It frees me up.
I think you do one venue over like 2 months or whatever,
okay.
or maybe a month and a half. You just do like different nights. And
how much money would we need?
We would just shoot them handheld. It would be more raw. It would be like
good.
we would just have like 4 or 5 handheld cameras in there.
And you know
maybe
what?
like 10
I
grand.
would love that, and I would put in the money because I have money in the market before BRICS. I never really got into that, but BRICS.
Spend it while you
Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa.
I got to learn about this BRICS. I got to get more into it. Yeah, this is the way.
Dude, Google it and realize that the collapse of this country, and I'm not talking about how we always say, oh, fascism, blah, blah, blah. The dollar's going to be worthless.
Wow.
It's the type of thing like in Venezuela where you have to go to the store with like $3,000 to get a 6-pack of Budweiser.
Oh,
I'm not kidding.
You think so? Oh, well, I hope not.
Do I think
I hope
so?
not.
Do I think so? I just
I fucking hope not, Eddie. I really don't want that
We
to
all
happen.
hope not. We all hope
I
not.
went to Japan recently, and the dollar was very strong there. I will say, we were, you know, it made me feel good.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm. It was.
I will
everything
say,
was so cheap.
So they're doing worse than us.
Yeah,
I hate
worse.
to say this on this podcast, but at least Trump was talking about that shit, inflation, the economy stuff.
So yeah,
I didn't hear from the other side at all. So it's like I have a little there. I feel again silver linings.
Except he
Silver
is
linings.
such a fucking. By the way, what's hilarious too? Check this out about China. He's always talking tough. Trump is about China and how he is going to put China. About how he is going to put tariffs, this and that.
Yeah, he's not.
China has outgrown the U.S. in the last 30 years, and I actually did some research. Our economy has grown in the last 30 years something like 4%, whereas China's economy has grown 30%.
Yes,
and that rate is still happening. And by the way, if Trump raises tariffs on goods, we get all of our shit from China.
Yeah, it's gonna fuck.
We get everything.
No, but it's gonna fuck everything up if that happens. Not just for China.
Inflation.
It's gonna fuck up inflation. All these big corporations are gonna get fucked over too. That's why I don't think it's gonna happen.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
It'll be like a soft tariff that he'll end up doing to appease his base.
So all the idiots who fall for Trump saying this stuff.
Yeah, well, that's what always happens.
But
right?
they're mad. I don't blame people for being mad, and they're mad, and a lot of them are like the Proud Boys. I was thinking of joining
the Proud,
not the Proud Boys. It's an offshoot group called Very Conceited Boys. There's also the Extremely Proud Boys, and then finally the boys who are so proud.
Or how about the Regretful Men? The Regretful. That feels like more in line with the podcast.
the Regretful Boys.
The Regretful.
Well, there's the Vain Adults also.
By the way, all these groups, like all these quote-unquote militias, it's all an excuse for people who want violence.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And
they just want to fucking kill people.
And they don't want people who don't look like them in their communities. And that's what and they want to scare them.
Right.
That's all.
I don't even think the Proud Boys exist anymore.
Yeah,
I haven't heard about them.
Well, we'll see because
when are we putting this out? Let's see.
I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. Who knows?
Well, and let me just say this to the Proud Boys, if you're listening, I respect what you guys do. I think you're a great organization. I love the black and white color coding. By the way, that cunt, Tucker Carlson.
Yeah.
What do you make of that fucking guy?
I'm not a fan. Not a
fan. What the fuck has happened to this landscape? It is. I don't watch the news anymore because it's such a shit show. I just listen to Chris Hedges.
He might be president next. I mean, Tucker Carlson could be the next president after Trump. I don't think that's a crazy
You know what?
thing.
I advise everybody to watch Idiocracy, which was a little bit ahead of its time.
Yeah, it's so
Mike
good.
Judge.
Absolutely nailed it. Yeah.
Mike Judge rules. That movie is so funny.
I'm baiting. Remember that? I'm baiting.
Dak Shepard.
Well, dude, he goes, "Welcome to the Baiting Network," and it's the one guy's got a huge right arm.
Oh my God.
So good.
baiting for 125 years.
I love Terry Crews as the president in that one. It's so funny.
Terry Crews.
He plays the president. What's
Who
his
is
name?
Terry
Big
Crews?
tough black dude.
Oh yeah,
ripped out of his gourd.
Yeah, that was
Casting was
kind of
fun.
like that
was calling the Trump presidency pretty
well,
much.
it was
yeah.
like Hulk Hogan during the Republican convention.
Yes.
By the way, if you dissect Hogan's speech during the Republican convention, there's nothing there.
No, of course not. I couldn't watch it. But by the way, going back to RFK, because
Yeah.
I want to put it
Right.
out there that I'm not a fan of his, but I do
Yeah.
think we got to find the silver linings right now.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we're going to go insane.
I'm silver lining Pepitone.
That's right.
And I know you were a Tulsi guy for a while, Eddie. I think that might have changed.
Well, I don't know
That
what
changed.
I don't even know what happened
What? Like
with Tulsi. Like she calls out the warmongers.
Yes.
So does Trump, by the way.
Yes.
Which is hilarious.
But I think it's funny that he backed himself in a corner now, Trump, because he had to these people came out for him like RFK and Tulsi, and he promised them these cabinet positions. And I don't think Trump
Is Tulsi in the cabinet? What is she now?
I think he nominated her for national intelligence. Yeah, director of national. It's like one of the most important positions.
How about Linda McMahon?
Oh,
The WWE. I don't know. Is she the
Well,
former
she-
wife of Vince?
I don't know. I think they might still be together, but I think she was in his cabinet before. Is like
If they're
small
together,
businesses.
it's a very free and open relationship.
If you read those stories about Vince McMahon, I think it's pretty.
I started watching a documentary on McMahon, and I lost interest in
Same.
episode 1.
Same.
I'm not a wrestling guy.
Me
I know a lot of
neither.
comics are. It's a bit. Are you wrestling? So,
I'm
not to judge.
I
know a lot
find
of
it to
comics
be
love-
stupid. I find the theatrics to be so. By the way, I'm watching a couple. Speaking of theatrics, I just want to get a plug in for 2 great shows that were done years ago. One is called Slings and Arrows. Have you ever heard of it?
Yes, I've seen it. Yeah,
CBC?
about the play. Yeah, it's
It's
great.
great. It's very it spoofs actors in theater, and
Yeah,
it's
it's really good.
hilarious. Paul Gross,
Oh,
great
that's
Canadian actor who never sold out to Hollywood.
Yep.
And then the other one is Kenneth Branagh did a Hamlet that I just watched.
Okay.
4 hours.
Wow.
And it had all these like star fuckery things, like Robin Williams did a turn, Billy Crystal did a turn.
Oh, that's cool.
And you love
And,
Branagh because of Poirot. He was Poirot.
Well, his Poirot's a little out there. I mean, he's got a mustache the size of Lithuania. Have you seen that?
Yes, I have
It's
seen
huge.
Hey guys, good luck.
Go get them, boys.
Good luck.
it. We support you.
Do not overstep. Whatever. I just want to warn them. But
You gotta
anyway,
support the firemen.
the other. This is a movie, not a series like Sling is an Arrow. But the other thing I want you to watch is called Midwinter's Tale, which is a band of, again, actors who rent a church to do Hamlet in the middle of nowhere in England. And it's fucking hilarious.
That sounds good.
And Branagh did it to blow off steam after having done Hamlet.
Oh wow!
And it's super funny. Midwinter's Tale. You
He
would
directed
love
it or
That's
he wrote
great.
it?
You would love it.
Wow, I want to see it.
I love. That's awesome. That you got a.
He directed and wrote it
Wow.
You're on a big Hamlet kick.
lately.
Yeah.
You know what? I've always tried to get into Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Because of the tragedies, not the comedies. I don't find his comedies
Yeah.
funny. I find his comedies lacking.
Yes.
I feel like you could do a King Lear. I feel like there could
I
be
feel
a
like I
Pepitone.
could do it.
Pepitone as King Lear. maybe.
Blow wind. Line. Yeah.
By the way, a show that I recommend if people haven't seen it yet is on HBO is called The Franchise with Armando Iannucci
Oh shit.
and Sam
I
Mendes.
love Iannucci.
Yeah,
And who?
Sam Mendes from American Beauty. And I think
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Is Mendez good?
Yeah, he's great.
That's a
great.
good show. You've
you
watched a
love
lot
it.
of it.
Franchise?
It's about
What-
it's about
what
the
streaming
making.
service?
It's on Max. It's about
Okay.
it's about the making of a Marvel type show, and it's just everything is going off the rails. It's
I
like
fucking love it.
all the-
Armando
yeah.
Iannucci created a show called In the Loop.
and thick of it,
And the thick of
Yeah.
it, which then Veeps came into being, and Veeps Iannucci oversaw it. Now that's another guy, and we were talking about another great director, and he's out here in Hollywood, is Adam McKay.
Yeah.
And his Twitter feed or X feed is so good. And Adam has done the movie Cheney, Don't Look Up.
Yeah, I love Don't Look Up. I thought it was great.
It's fucking great. I just
Step Brothers.
No, was
I
that
also
him?
yeah, it was. But also,
He's
the people who shit on Don't Look Up, are I'm like, what the fuck? Are
Who
you
is
talking
shitting
about?
on Don't Look Up?
So many. That movie got such hate for some reason. I have no fucking clue why.
It's because it was so on the nose.
I think so.
But that's fine. You have to spoon feed some of this shit to people. Like that's like
Absolutely.
He's so good at that.
And he's right, by the way, that the climate. He's great because he doesn't pull any punches. He doesn't play the Hollywood game.
Yeah, he did it with the other one too. The one about Wall Street.
Hey, get the fuck out of here! Sorry, folks. These are police.
Yeah, he did The Big Short too.
Yeah, The Big Short.
The Big Short is
and talk about spoon feeding it in a way that was so intelligent.
Yes.
He did that thing where he broke like Anthony Bourdain would like be cooking and he would explain something.
Margot Robbie in a bathtub
exactly,
drinking champagne.
No, The Big Short was about the prime mortgage
it was about
collapse.
The 2008 collapse. But I think he's an example of a filmmaker that can fucking he just does it right, and he's able to sort of articulate it in a way that can get it through to everybody gets it, you know what I mean? But also he's doing it in a way on another level where it's so intelligent.
What I wanted to say is that Adam McKay and Armando Iannucci, I guess two of my top favorites, they don't use me in anything.
Right.
And I don't like that.
Well, Adam
because I
is
feel
watching.
like those are the guys, if I was going to work in Hollywood and really be like fulfilled, those would be the guys I dig working with, I believe.
You would have been great in Death of Stalin. That was a good one. You would have been,
I love that
Richard,
one.
you would have crushed it in any of this movie. He's literally been a part of
He doesn't
almost
know
all of my
I don't
favorite
know, man.
movies.
He knows me.
Anchorman,
but he doesn't.
Maybe
The
one
Other
day.
Guys,
Maybe one day.
Talladega Nights.
Well, I'm hoping to get launched before 75. I always said to myself, I said, Eddie, and I made a promise to myself many years ago, a la Jim Carrey. I said, Eddie, if you don't make it by 75, then you will teach.
Yeah.
So I'm giving myself another 10 years.
You'll teach, maybe you'd be in Santa Fe, right? Potter's Wheel.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's what I used to do.
Yeah.
I forgot that bit where I used to say to audiences, folks, I shouldn't be up here. And I really believe this. Folks, I shouldn't be up here. I should be in a Potter's Wheel, at a Potter's Wheel in Santa Fe with children around me. A lot of turquoise, a lot of copper, and just saying to the kids, you should have seen the traffic on the 405. Oh my God. And if you had a coffee and a muffin and you're stuck in traffic and all of a sudden you had a bowel movement, you felt it and there was no way you could get off any exit. I actually had that happen to me on the way to do Joe Rogan's podcast.
Oh, no.
The 101 was completely packed. I had to go to the bathroom.
Right.
So bad. Number 2.
Oh, shit.
And I had to go so bad that I had a panic attack.
Oh, no. Oh, that's why that episode was a little off.
That's why I sucked. Because I finally got off the 101.
I didn't know that.
And I took a Klonopin, and I was a little dull. I
didn't know there was a Klonopin and a stomach situation on the way
No, the stomach situation was gone, but the Klonopin, and then I got to Rogan's, the Klonopin kicked in.
Oof.
And I was just very hey, Joe.
You should tell Joe that you want to retake that one, because that
Absolutely.
that one was a little
I don't
off.
know, Joe. The whole evolution of Roganism is intense. I don't know if I should go on that,
I'm not going to speak to whether Joe Rogan is good or bad, but I will say that there was a time where he was for Bernie, and
Unbelievable.
and
Yes.
there was a big squandering of that population of his fans that could have been used very well in this past election. And that's a bummer.
He hangs out with Elon, and that's inexcusable to me. I'm sorry.
Well,
Elon is a piece of shit, is he not?
Yeah.
He's a billionaire, piece of shit, crazy, egomaniacal. Besides that, he's a good man. But
besides that, he's a great guy. No, Rogan is getting about, we're talking about hundreds of millions of eyeballs.
Yeah, but
within a few days.
We make $700 a month.
You're right.
Can Rogan say that?
I'm just saying, if you went on there and got 1/100,000th of his audience, it might quadruple.
I think you can go on his podcast,
viewers.
Eddie, and I think you'll still maintain your level.
Oh, yeah.
You might be the one that changes them.
You know who's an interesting cat as far as, weaving in and out of this political mayhem is Tim Dillon.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not sure now. And this is why the landscape to me is so confusing. Tim Dillon, who I know is such a funny dude, but I don't know where he is politically. And I don't know if anybody knows where they are politically.
I think Tim's probably a little right of center, but I think he was. I think he
which to me is
RFK.
Inexcusable.
He supported RFK, I think, in the last election. He was doing some benefits.
Well, he was hardcore left because when I was helping out
Tim
with this
agreed
thing,
on so much.
Was he left?
He was
left?
very left.
Really?
He was
for a little while.
Gay. He's a gay guy. He's very left.
Wait, who? Tim is gay?
Yes, but no, he was very left. I think he got disenfranchised with what the left's sensitivity to comedy.
I don't know. I think you got to ask Tim. I think he was originally to the right, and then maybe he became a little bit more to the left, and then he went back to the right. I think he used to be a Republican.
Is he still doing his podcast like a lunatic?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Is he?
Yeah.
I don't know how those guys do it. I can barely make it out to the park across from my home and dribble out this. And these guys are just...
I think when they start seeing hundreds of thousands of dollars coming in, they get
month.
motivated to...
By the way, that's a double-edged sword, and I'm not even kidding. You then become a little bit of a slave to that shit. You have to fucking crank out that shit.
Well, because you know that the mainstream, whatever it is never going to give you a shot once you're talking the way you're talking.
I'm going to start listening to Tim. I want to just pick one of Tim's out and just listen.
Tim's so fucking funny.
He's so fucking funny, and we used to hang out in the Comedy Store parking lot and just
he loves you.
Talk about Chris Hedges, and it was great.
Every time I see him, he says he'll come out. So I've hit him up a couple of times. I'm like, you'll come out to the park and sit in the park with us? He's like, yeah.
But I thought Tim is in Austin.
No, I think Tim
No,
lives
he's here.
Yeah.
He's here.
Oh, he didn't move to Austin?
He moved to Austin for 6 months and then left.
Bought a house and he rented out
back.
or something or something like that.
Yeah, well, now he's got 7 houses now, yeah. He really does.
It is crazy. Isn't it crazy how some comedians just got so rich in the last few years off of
It makes me feel less than.
Me too.
But it's interesting, but not by the typical sort of Netflix special thing or whatever. Just from doing their own podcast and getting Patreon or whatever.
That's why I've done over 23 podcasts in my career.
You've done over 23?
No, I've done 5, but I've done them for the last.
Pretty good.
I've done them. I literally have been doing a podcast since 2007.
Wow,
Holy
really?
shit.
You were that
17
early?
years?
Yep. My first podcast was Nantucket Avenue because it was on the street Nantucket where my house was in Fresno. I just have a bunch of dudes in the backyard and we'd record stories.
Yeah.
And we had a nice little following. I submitted some stuff for This American Life.
Wow.
This American Life fucked me. and I want to talk let me just say this to Ira Glass right now. Fuck you, Glass.
Not Todd Glass.
Not Todd. Ira.
That's right.
Yeah, This American... NPR. First of all, you're not funny. NPR's not funny. No, I don't know about this.
You don't think Terry Gross is funny? You don't think Terry Gross is...
He's all right. I would call that chiropractor's office funny. Or a dentist's office or something.
Were you ever on that show? Wait, don't tell me.
No, I wasn't. But my buddy Adam Felber does that a lot.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah. It's they try to be funny on that show. I guess that's their attempt.
And when I say buddy Adam Felber, I mean someone who doesn't talk to me anymore.
Is it because of your political leanings?
Probably a little bit.
Eddie, have we talked about how? Yeah, in the last year since the genocide. Have you lost a lot of friends?
I think people know me, and I'm just and this is going to sound egotistical, but I'm just a likable fellow.
Yeah.
And I think I'm very out there with how flawed I am, and I don't think I'm a big threat to anybody because of my level of success, and I don't think they're that mad at me, but I had got a couple of people mad at me, but you know what? I look at it as their problem.
Yeah.
I really do, because if you look at what's going on in Gaza and Lebanon now, it's a slaughter.
Yeah.
And they're defending that? There's no defense.
It's hard
Who's
to
the
toe
comedian? Who was the
line.
comedian that you got into? You got into a fight with a comedian. We can cut this out if you want. But on Instagram or Twitter was Elon.
Oh, he came after me. He just private messaged me, a guy named Elon Gold, and he was like, "I'm sorry I even met you." This was early on.
Oh, right.
So in deference to him, it was like after. It
was October 8th, ladies and
gentlemen.
It was
October. It was actually the night of October 7th. No.
Eddie's not good with timing. When the World Trade Center hit, the first building, Eddie had he had a thought.
I had a thought. When the first plane hit the first building, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be a great vehicle for Nick Cage. That was my first thought. And if you ever saw that movie, World Trade Center, Nick Cage, he's shown.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I just watched actually was it wasn't a remake. It was Werner Herzog did a version of Bad Lieutenant.
Oh yeah, it's
with
great.
Nicolas Cage.
Oh,
It was
so
pretty
good.
fucking good.
Oh, really?
My
That's
favorite
amazing.
story about that is that he never saw the original Bad
That's
Lieutenant.
right.
And Abel Ferreira, who directed
Was
the first one, was
pissed.
pissed. He's like, how
They
disrespectful.
made amends though.
They did, yeah. But Werner was like, I never saw the film. I never saw it.
He
I just
could
made
care
my own.
less. I like Werner Herzog. I think he's somewhere in Studio City, up in the hills.
Okay. Ooh, we should go find him. That'd be a good podcast, finding Werner and Eddie. Getting Eddie to sit down with
We're searching the hills of Beverly Hills to find Werner.
That might be a funny limited podcast called In Search of Werner Herzog.
Dude, you know our friend Linus Phillips, filmmaker,
Linus?
he made a documentary about something called like Walking to Werner, I think, or something. I swear. Look
What's
it up.
that about?
It's about he loves Werner Herzog, and he was like trying to find him. And like,
where is Linus from? He's from the same part of the world as Werner, no?
No,
Isn't
Linus is
Linus-
from Seattle. Or Linus? No,
But
sorry.
his
Linus is from
ethnicity.
Boston. He lived in Seattle. Linus is originally.
Oh,
from
okay,
Boston.
but isn't he Nordic?
His I
Like
don't
Werner?
think so.
Anyway.
I forget. Eastern European. Right?
Anyway, if you don't know who Werner Herzog is, he did Grizzly. He does a lot of great docs.
Grizzly Man, yeah.
And movies, huh?
And movies, yeah. Rescue Dawn is a great one with
That's still done?
Rescue Dawn with
Rescue Dawn.
Christian Bale and Steve Zahn.
What's that one about?
It's about a POW camp.
Huh.
Is it good?
It's great.
I haven't seen that
great.
one. By the way, in my convalescence, since I've been listing the movies that I've been watching, and I've been watching a lot. Let me list the movies I've watched.
Yeah.
And TV series. One, I watched The Offer.
Oh, yeah. I love The Offer.
10-part series. It was kind of cool to see Colin Hanks, Tom Hanks' son, in it, because I
He's
worked
great.
with Colin in Pudding, and he was such a nice guy, and he had a great part in it. And this is with it was a good the making of The Godfather.
Yeah, it's so good.
Which I'm now in the middle of watching. The Godfather, the first one.
By the way, if anybody lives in L.A., go to the Academy Museum. They have a whole exhibit of The Godfather, and you can see the desk.
Oh, really?
The original desk and everything. All the.
Is that on
memorabilia.
Vine?
No. This is in next to LACMA on Wilshire.
Oh, over there.
It's
Okay.
incredible. They have an amazing Godfather exhibit in LA.
What's this
if
one
you're a
over here?
fan.
The Oscars?
Might be something like that.
Yeah,
but the
over
main
here is the Emmys.
The Emmys.
Oh yeah,
right.
that's it.
That's right.
But it's worth going to the Academy Museum if you
Really?
like The Godfather. Oh my
I'd
god,
like to do that.
Yeah,
Hell
it's
yeah.
cool. Very
I
cool.
mean, I was just because you watch The Offer, and my friend Patrick Gallo played Mario Puzo.
Oh wow, I didn't know
He's
that.
my buddy in New York.
Oh, that's cool. He's good. He's really good.
Cool dude. He's a cool dude. He's always playing like he was also in. He's gotten big movies now. He also was in. What's the one where De Niro paint the house? The Irishman.
Oh yeah, I love The Irishman.
Yeah, he played one of the henchmen for one of the guys. Anyway,
Well, he was
Patrick
great.
played Puzo.
He was great in those scenes with the guy who plays Coppola.
Yeah.
What's his name? Dan Fogelberg or Dan Fogelman?
Yeah,
good.
Fogelberg. Who's
Yeah.
the musician?
It's the other one.
Dan Fogarty?
Not the musician, but it's
John Fogerty. Put me in, coach. I'm ready to direct The Godfather. Imagine you have such bad dementia that you are confusing John Fogerty with John Haggerty.
Oh, speaking of Fogerty, I heard him on an interview saying he got burned by the. Oh no, it wasn't Fogerty. It was Mellencamp. Sorry, Mellencamp got burned by the Democrats. He doesn't support the Democrats anymore.
Well, yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
What did he say?
It's something about just like.
I just saw Mellencamp at the Hollywood Bowl with Dylan and Willie Nelson.
How was that?
Let me tell you something. I had never seen. And the reason I went mainly was to see Dylan, who I was kind of bored with that night because he just did his... He does a lot of crooning now.
Yeah.
It's
really?
like and I love Dylan. But anyway, Willie Nelson.
We saw Dylan. We saw Dylan. It was a pretty good show, though, when we saw Dylan. You didn't go with me. That's right.
I had fucking COVID.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And it was good, huh?
Yeah, it was great. It was great. Sorry. It was great. But you know what? Dylan's going to come back around, I hear, after this movie, Complete Unknown.
Yeah.
I'm hearing that they're going to do some big Dylan tour.
Let's talk about... I know we're going all over the place now, and I want to finish first the Hollywood Bowl. It was
yes.
Willie Nelson, Dylan Mellencamp, and it's so bad that I can't remember her name, but another woman... a woman who's very fun, very funny, very
it was
good.
Kate Berlant, ladies and gentlemen.
It was Kate Berlant, who I wouldn't be surprised. But anyway, Willie Nelson was amazing.
Oh, really? Wow!
I loved him. He closed out the show.
Wow,
and he was just... His songs were beautiful, and I didn't think I would like him because I'm not a country guy, but he kind of transcends country.
Oh, yeah. You know what song always gets me is Always on My Mind.
Yes.
That song just every
That song
time.
makes me cry. It really does. I get emotional when I hear that song. I
usually cry before that song comes on, and it's nothing to do with the song. Just has to do with my life being a mess. But anyway, now, what happened to Mellencamp with the Democrats?
No, I just heard that he soured on the Democrats, which I thought you'd like to know.
Yeah.
That he's no longer... I
believe soured on the Democrats.
Double check this info.
Oh, what a big stance by John Mellencamp.
I think it was either Mellencamp or Fogerty. I don't know.
I love the hearsay. By the way, what are we up to?
We're past.
We're past, okay.
This podcast is all about hearsay and going on different threads that never come back.
What are we
So
up
do you try
to
to keep it at 60? Is that the
45?
Oh, you try to keep it.
We
like
try to
45.
do at least 45.
Yeah.
But we could go on a little bit. So anyway, I lost 15 pounds. My prostate's gone. I'm doing Kegel exercises, which center on the pelvic muscle.
The pelvic floor, which they say is very important, not just for you, but for everybody as they get older, to make sure you're
incontinence.
Also, when you're peeing, you don't dribble, things like that. You know,
that's
you don't want to dribble.
Incontinence. Yeah,
is that what is that incontinence?
By the way, if you're a young person and you're watching this podcast and you're like, why are these gentlemen talking about dribbling urine?
Yeah. We're all getting older. We're all,
Yes.
I'm 40. I'm 40. I'm going to...
Are you 40?
I'm 40. I'm going to be 41 next month.
What are you?
43. I'm an old man.
But you guys look so fucking young to me. I used to think 40 was so old.
Yeah, me too.
You know? And I'm sure there's people out there. My fans range from mid-80s to 13.
Yes.
I like that you start high and then go low. It's not the
mid-80s to 13.
There are probably some young Pepitone fans. I wonder if there are some that are in the teenage years.
Yeah, send us a note if you think you're the youngest viewer or the oldest viewer. Let us know. EddiePepPodcast@gmail.
Yeah, no, that when I go on the road, I get a lot of young fans. I mean, they're not really, really young, but these are people below 60.
Honestly, if you're under 25, I will say.
Yeah.
And you're a dedicated Pepitone fan, we want to hear from you.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think What's the email again?
EddiePepPodcast@gmail.com.
EddiePepPodcast@gmail.com.
We love those emails, man. I'm telling you, every time it pops up, I get a little alert. It humps me up.
We love alerts.
Eddie gets whenever there's an alert, Eddie gets an injection. in his neck.
A new vaccine, whatever's around.
You know what was my favorite alert was when they thought there was a nuclear bomb in Hawaii. Do you remember
that? Was a great time.
Yes.
That was a great day when we thought everything was going to hell.
Holy shit.
All of us that are freaked out by anything like that, when we see the news and we're like, Russia's is pointing nukes where?
At Hawaii?
That was a great day.
By the way, it is pretty apparent. I know that this is a big thing to leave on the table, but it's pretty apparent that Biden and the Democrats are trying to leave Trump with a possible World War III scenario, which I don't think Trump is equipped to navigate.
Folks, get some potassium iodide and duct tape, and just hope for the best.
And
that's my plan.
Just put the potassium iodide in your mouth and duct tape your whole face.
Yes.
Do you think they?
Yes.
You think they would do that intentionally?
It sure looks like it to me.
It seems like it would be a bad decision on their part to
the
provoke
world's existence.
Yeah, but maybe they want escalation of war. I don't know.
The ultimate "I told you so" when we're all living in a nuclear wasteland, and Kamala's filming on an iPhone 3 that she found, going, "I told you guys, you should have voted for me."
They know that Trump is gonna, when first day in office, he's gonna get them together and he's gonna be like, Zelensky, you got to take the deal. You got no other options. So
So, I mean, but
here's the thing that's hilarious is that Dr. Oz is going to launch the nuke that destroys us all. Dr. Oz is part of Trump's cabinet.
That's so funny.
Great
So
stuff.
fucked up.
Great stuff.
And now Dr. Emmett Oz to address the nation. Hello, everybody.
By the way, everybody who thinks that Eddie is on Ozempic because he clearly lost weight, those rumors can go out the window. There's no Ozempic.
I wouldn't go near that stuff.
Nope.
Seriously.
No
Nope. I had surgery done, and it wasn't cosmetic. It was so the urologist, could take out my prostate. Now, and first of all, I don't mean to brag. There's a lot of comics, young comics, who have their own thing going on. This is my...
Sure, he did get a Brazilian butt lift while he was in there.
No,
they were there.
That was something I've wanted to do for many years. Is a Brazilian
BBL. Eddie Pepitone got
and
a BBL.
I know you got him taped down right now, but he's also got a great pair of tits. I don't know if you guys, again, Patreon, $20. You're gonna get a glimpse at these warlocks pretty soon. So
It's a good one.
Anyway, everybody, you want to...
Yeah, folks. Hey, thanks for joining us. We got Steve Feinartz. Go and follow him on all the social media. And, if you enjoy what you're seeing here, go throw us a subscribe, a comment, share with your friends and family on YouTube, Instagram follows, all that good stuff. If you want to see Eddie Pepitone live, go to eddiepepitone.com, and you can see all the links to everything there. Click on it. Send us an email, eddiepetpodcast@gmail.com, and
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for watching, listening. Apocalypse Soon, the podcast with no upside.
None.